Hi there, this is Joe from Havian. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can set up custom dashboards in the Havian Global Manager. To start with, let's look at one of the standard project displays, vessel timing. Perhaps every time you come here, you always want to change the same settings. You might want to group by day as opposed to week. Maybe you're only interested in downtime and not really interested in this pie chart. You'd rather be able to want to see this chart, and alongside it you want to see the timing diary. Okay, so to save you having to set that up every time you come to Global Manager, you could instead make a dashboard. So within each project you can have your own set of dashboards. If we scroll down, click on dashboards, and we get presented with this blank page. We can hit this plus here, and I'm going to create this example for you, and it's going to pull data in from the whole project. We can select things like daily, weekly, monthly, and I'll come back to that. And for the moment we're not going to share it, we're just going to make it for ourselves, and it's going to be a simple dashboard style, which means that it's not scrollable. It's just a fixed grid of 12 by 12, but let's just make it 4 by 4. Okay, so here's our dashboard. We're going to start by clicking in the top left corner here to add a new widget, and I'm going to start with a blank template so you can see me build everything from scratch. You'll notice, however, there are some defaults, so you can select some stuff. These defaults have already set some of the settings on some of the widgets beforehand. Let's just start from blank. So I'm going to start by building a daily downtime chart, which is what I produced in that earlier display. It's going to be a bar chart, and the primary bar grouping, now this is along the x-axis, is going to be days, and the secondary bar grouping, which is then what the data is split up to on each of the bars, is going to be the main category. Let's have a look then what that looks like to start with. Very small, let's make it a bit bigger. Okay, so it's good, we've got our timing data, but it's not downtime. I forgot to filter it. So I click on this little cog here in the top right hand corner. I go to the data and I select categories, downtime, update. And so now we get this nice chart exactly like we had in the timing area. It'd be nice if we had some information like a table that told us perhaps for this period the breakdown of the different types of downtime. So again, let's click on the plus, start from blank. So I'm going to call this a totals breakdown. Click on a table, and the rows for the table are going to be the logged category. So you notice how we have these two options. We have the main categories, which are our kind of 10 or so main categories like downtime, acquisition, chargeable standby. And then you have the logged category, which is the subcategory, the final one that is logged. And then, so these are going to be our rows. What do we want to show in the columns? Well, we could choose to split up the data maybe by vessel. That might be nice. Let's see what that looks like. And again, so that's quite good. We've got our two different vessels in our project. Let's again remember to filter it by downtime. Okay, that's looking good. Now, what did I say as well? I said I wanted to have a list showing actual details of the comments logged and the actual individual events, as opposed to just these totals, total number of hours. So let's come back again, timing, and instead I'm going to show a listing here. So this is a list of the events, and do we want any kind of grouping? Well, we certainly want to filter just the downtime, and we can split it up. Let's split it up by vessel and make this large. Here we go. So seismic vessel 1, seismic vessel 2. here we see specific details. And if we go into the cog again, you can see that we've got an option over what columns come in here. So we could actually instead have included the vessel as one of the columns. And maybe you're not interested in some of these other things. Okay. So finally, I'd like to draw your attention to some of the wider dashboard settings. So if we click on the tab here, each tab up here is a dashboard, and if we click on the cog, we can give it a more appropriate title. Perhaps we want to call this the weekly downtime summary dashboard and change it to a weekly. So it's just going to pull data for the week that you're looking at. Let's have a look at that. Okay, so within the week here, we're currently looking at the 4th to the 7th. So it's not a complete week yet, and it's a week that started on the Monday. If we scroll back to the previous week, a couple of weeks scrolling back, and we have some downtime here. Nice summary of the week in day form, broken up by the days, and details of all of the downtime events. And here again, under the dashboard editor, we have a couple of options. One for company template, which makes this dashboard available as a starting point on any other project. And we have company dashboard, which makes this exact dashboard available in read-only form to any other users at your company. So as I mentioned before, we are within a single project and we're looking at the dashboard. We can do the same thing within the company menu. So company dashboards. And here it's going to be aggregating data across your whole company for whatever time period you want. Let's create some kind of yearly dashboard. And we'll make it report, which means it's a scrollable dashboard. So I'm going to do the same thing as I did before, try and bring up some data about downtime. So some kind of downtime summary. And we'll take a table and, or in fact, let's take a pie chart. This pie chart we can choose, is it split up by project? So in this case, we'll get something like this, project 1, project 2, project 3, and you'll be able to see the amount of downtime from each project. Or perhaps you want to split up the data by vessel. So you're going to get all the downtime vessel 1, vessel 2, vessel 3 for the year. You get the idea. Within the company dashboards, you generally want to, on the first level, split up by project or by vessel. And that's especially true if we're looking at, say, a stacked bar chart like so. We want to split up by vessel firstly, and then maybe by main category. So it'll look something like this. Or maybe it's project, then by category. And if you want the kind of data split up the other way around, it's quite straightforward. Main category, then project, and it's going to look something like that. So my general guidance is that whenever you're creating a company dashboard, you at least want project or vessel as one of the ways you're grouping data normally. I'm going to generate this, but because I haven't got much data on this server, the chart's not going to be very interesting. Now to wrap this one up, I'm going to go back to my project dashboard for my streamer survey. I'm going to create a new dashboard. I'm going to call it my daily summary. And I just want to go through a few of the features, a few of the things that we're able to create in dashboards that I haven't covered already, and really show you how powerful this is and just what you can do. So I'm going to start creating some widgets. We've got lots of options here. Okay, so timing, production, performance. I've already shown you a bit about timing, so let's show you production. Here we've got a number of options. For example, we can do stacked by bar charts, by day, and then production type. Let's see how that looks. Obviously no production on that day. So instead, let's make this in fact, what I'm going to do is going to keep this as a daily summary, but I'm going to say that this particular chart, I want to bring in data, not from the same period as the dashboard, but from the whole project. So it's not going to be a daily widget. This is actually going to bring in data from the whole project. And there we go. When I update, I see my production here. We see how this is all what we call main production. That's the way it's splitting up the data. Other types of production in Seismic are things like overlap or continuous line acquisition. It's the primary level at which we kind of start dividing up the type of production. More commonly, what you'll want to split up your production by is what we call line format, which is prime and infill. And if you are doing that, then it's probably worth also in the settings on the data, making sure that you aren't including any data for overlap sections or continuous line acquisition. And here you'll see that you also have options if you want to look at full fold, or you want to look at charge data, or if you want to look at points versus kilometers. It's all within this data tab. Let's go back and have a look at that. So here you're seeing kilometers, prime and infill. Right, so that's nice. Yeah, one thing that I want to draw your attention to here, if we come to these settings again, is the first line here, production log source. We've got a couple of options: source, node lay, and geophysical. And you just need to make sure, if you're doing, for example, an OBN survey and you want to look at deployment and recovery statistics, that you select node lay. Or if you're doing a geophysical survey, you know, a multi-sensor survey, maybe with AUVs or with a conventional survey vessel, but with multiple sensors, then you pick this geophysical survey option. And then you're going to get all of these different production types here: magnetometer, gravimeter, etc. If you're just interested not in the separate pieces of equipment, but rather just the start of line, end of line record events, then we can select that. Nothing is going to come up here. But if I jump to a site survey project, which I've prepared earlier, here we're seeing the start of line, end of line production type. And if I go in and go to the cog here, and instead of splitting by line format, prime and infill, I do split on this production type, and then come across to the data and take this filter off. Yeah, we're splitting up by production type now, all the various different the production types. Now, finally, coming back to our original demo, streamer survey and the dashboards, I just want to highlight a few other types of widgets that you can add. I'm not going to go through how we set them up, but I do want to give you a flavor of the other things that these dashboards can do. So you can create maps here. Production maps, here it's grouped by prime and infill, but you can group by all sorts of other things. If we come into the data here, color attribute, here it is the production type, but it could be, for example, the heading. Here we have a vessel timing map, and it's showing data for the whole project, but you can just show data for the day or the week, and you can see very visually what's been happening in that time period. Scrolling down further here, we've got some data for the whole project here on HSE stats. Next to it, data for just a day, going into the details of exactly, for example, what the sightings were that day. And here we have a nice special type of vessel timing pie chart, which has the main categories in the inner circle here, and then it shows the breakdown moving out, which is very nice. Okay, so I've really gone through quite a lot in the last 10-15 minutes or so. If there are, if you have any questions to do with creating things in dashboards, please don't hesitate to send us an email at support@havian.com. And as well, if you have any suggestions, things that you'd like to create with the dashboards, but it seems like they're not possible, then please also send them in too. Okay, thank you very much for watching and have a nice day.